What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Still, here with the rest of the Daily Collegian Penn State football beat. Editor Ryan Lloyd, Joe McIntyre, and Steve Trella. We're here talking about Penn State's first game of the season this Saturday against Indiana State. Lots of storylines here, guys. One of the biggest ones, quarterbacks. What can we see from quarterbacks this weekend?
Well, Joe Pa said in his press conference that both quarterbacks are going to start, both Rob Bolden and Matt McGloin. They're going to get 50-50 time. I guess that's all depending on who starts first. I guess that's pretty much what I'm looking for. Who's going to start first? I think whoever starts first is going to be the guy for the season. But, I don't know.
And I think a motive might be for Penn State staff is Alabama now is to game plan for Matt McGloin and Rob Bolden. I think it maybe adds a different dynamic than what Alabama was planning on preparing for over the summer.
Now, I understand where Joe comes from and not naming a starter and getting both guys some time. But Steve, I'm gonna disagree. I think you kind of need to know your guy, heading into Alabama. So hopefully this game decides that. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell because both guys are going to have success. Indiana State is not a good team. So I feel like this isn't going to decide much, which kind of worries me a little bit about the quarterbacks.
I feel like the offense is going to be a little vanilla. They don't want to show too much for Alabama, so it's going to be tough to see how much each quarterback can handle the full offensive load. Not to mention, I think Penn State will have a very successful day on the ground. Silas Shred, Brandon Beachum, and I think that's going to be a real key, and it might be tough to even go away from the rush if it's having so much success.
Yeah, I'm really expecting big things out of Brandon Beachum. And he's just a bruiser. He's a big guy. Just runs through anybody he really wants to. And a team like Indiana State out of the Missouri Valley Conference, they're not really all that impressive. And I feel like these guys are probably going to have their way with them. And Brandon Beachum, I feel like he's going to have a big day.
Think we'll see Stephon Green in the game?
That's going to be interesting to see. Talking to Joe and some of the guys at Media Day on Tuesday, Stephon apparently worked his way back on the team and earned his respect. So, hopefully he gets some carries. We'll see.
I don't think maybe sometime after maybe the game's out of reach for Indiana State, maybe we see Stephon Green. I'm hoping to see him. I hope to see if he's devoted to this team and if he wants to actually be back on the team again. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Definitely special teams.
Yeah. He's definitely a guy that he's versatile. He showed it his freshman year. He's struggled with injuries, off the field trouble. He's probably been in Joe's doghouse for about 2 years now. But he brings a different dynamic to the offense, and they could definitely use him. There's no doubt about that.
Really so much depth there running back. And one of the big stories to watch defensively is Glenn Carson getting his first start at middle linebacker. A lot of people thought Mike Mowdy was the guy in the middle, but moved him over. Glenn Carson's making his first start as a middle linebacker for Penn State. Guys, what can we expect from that?
I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to – I really don't know what to expect. I was kind of assuming that Mowdy would be in the middle with Hodges and Stupar on the outside, but Carson kind of threw me for a loop there. You wrote that article about him last week.
Yeah, I talked to him at Media Day, and I know me and Still, we covered wrestling, and he's an ex-wrestler, and he had that kind of wrestler mentality, just laid back, talking to him, and it's like he's made for a middle linebacker, stuffing the run. I think Kyrie Fort might come in, get some passing down situations, but Carson, he seems like a guy that can really step in there middle linebacker and be a run-stopping threat.
And talking to Mowdy Media Day, he said he's still going to call the plays in there. So, he'll still be the vocal leader and, take charge of that linebacking crew. And then defensive ends, lots of questions heading into this year, lots of injuries. Steve, what do we have there?
Well, you lost Pete Massaro for the whole season, which definitely hurts. But, you get Jack Crawford back, you get Eric Lattimore back. Crawford's just a mean-looking dude. He's sure to break some heads this season. So we'll see. They only had, I think, 17 sacks last year as opposed to in the past they've had, I think the 2008 and 2009 teams had over 35. Mm-hmm. So, you blame the secondary for some things, but is that a factor that, there's no pressure on the quarterback? It's definitely something to look out for Saturday.
Not to mention the interior guys. Sounds like they lost a lot of weight and they're real fit, so that should really help the ends get some pressure from the outside.
Yeah, Joe, you want to talk about a little bit about what Jordan Hill did this
year?
week?
Jordan Hill cut out 20 pounds, I think it was, or 22 pounds, something like that this offseason, cutting out all the burgers, all the fries, and all the cookies, cakes, and pies. So, he cut down a lot of weight. He wanted to keep up with the younger guys in the line and make sure that he was a lot faster enough to be able to go around the offensive lineman and get to the quarterback fast as possible because they were trying to, toughen up and they were trying to toughen up this spring, and they were trying to be tough and fast at the same time, which is tough. But I guess they tried to do it this summer.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions heading the defensive line, with the defensive line heading this year, but I think they really respect Coach Larry Johnson and defensive line, and I think they'll probably follow him whatever he wants to do. And that was his idea for them to lose weight. So, guys, let's talk predictions. What do we think?
I mean, I think we're all predicting a win here, but it just depends by how much. I have 47-10 Penn State. I see them cruising early, but as in Joe Pa's fashion, I don't think he's going to pile it on. He's not like a Nick Saban guy who's going to keep piling on and piling on. He's going to slow it down a bit towards the end, which is kind of thought back to the quarterbacks. Whoever comes in quarterback second, is the offense going to be a lot less? He's going to go for a lot less threat, offensively. So that's something to think about.
And I think last year with Youngstown State, I got the sense, week one that this might not be the season for Penn State. They wound up going 7-6, but against Youngstown State, they just weren't crisp. They weren't sharp. They gave up that big play on a screen pass, like the kind of things that came back to haunt them against better teams later in the season. So I think Saturday what we're going to see, if we see a crisp, tough, determined Penn State team, it could really set the tone for the whole season. And I'm going to say 38-6, but, that's the big thing I'm looking for is the offense sharp? Is the defense consistent? Mental errors that could hurt them down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, while they should get the win, there's a lot of little areas they can get an extra kind of win in, like mental and everything, feeling good about themselves moving forward. I'd say about 31-10. I don't know, like you said, I don't know how the offense will really pile it on. It's more about working out the kinks.
Yeah, I forget my exact score, but it's going to be a big win for Penn State. A lot of storylines here, guys. Another one of those is Coach Joe Paterno going to be on the sidelines at media day on Tuesday. He didn't look all that great. He used a crutch to get up onto the podium, and it didn't really look like he's ready to be on the sidelines, quite frankly. So it'll be interesting to see where he is during the game.
He wants to be. He wants to be down there, but you never know. He's 84 years old, and he's just. It's a pretty serious blow in practice a couple weeks ago. So he wants to be on the field, but we'll see if the doctors keep him out of that.
Yeah, is it worth it to put him on the field? I mean, one more blow. I mean, Davon Still's only 5'7". He's only my height. Someone like, Eric Lattimore hits him. He's going down, and he's probably not going to get back up. So is it worth it to have him on the sidelines? I really don't know.
Well, guys, that's all about all we have here. It's a noontime kickoff in Beaver Stadium, Penn State's first game of the year. So check it out, and thanks for listening.